Cannabis use linked to better and more frequent sex, study finds, but dosage is critical, by Ben Adlin. A new scientific review of academic research on cannabis and human sexuality concludes that while the relationship between cannabis and sex is a complicated one, use of cannabis is generally associated with more frequent sexual activity, as well as increased sexual desire and enjoyment. The article published this week in the Journal of Psychopharmacology also suggests that lower doses of cannabis may actually be best suited for sexual satisfaction, while higher doses could in fact lead to decreases in desire and performance, and it suggests that effects may differ based on a person's gender. The report suggests that cannabis has the potential to enhance sexual pleasure, reduce inhibitions, alleviate anxiety and shame, and promote intimacy with sexual partners, wrote the 5-author research team from the Gonda Multidisciplinary Brain Research Center at Bar Ilan University in Israel. Furthermore, it has been associated with increased pleasure during masturbation and enhanced sexual experiences during sexual encounters. These observations indicate that cannabis may have notable effects on sexual experiences. The 9-page literature review says that while sex is a complex dynamic influenced by various physical and emotional factors, cannabis affects individuals in an integrative manner, impacting both physical and emotional aspects, which can potentially influence sexual experiences. Women typically see more beneficial effects from cannabis use, the paper says, though less research has been done looking into women experiences. Suggests that cannabis can relieve painful intercourse, authors wrote. Moreover, low doses of cannabinoids, including THC and THCV, could potentially alleviate anxiety associated with sexual activities or interpersonal interactions, consequently disinhibiting sexual desire and promoting arousal, particularly in certain women. As for men, the new psychopharmacology article notes that findings are conflicting. Some suggest that cannabis causes erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, and postponed ejaculation, while others claim the opposite. Dosage appears key. Throughout our study, we found a dosage and frequency of cannabis use to be modulating factors in the effect of cannabis on sexual experiences, the report says. More regular cannabis use sexual function, at least in general. A survey of female customers at a cannabis dispensary found that compared to low-frequency users, women who use cannabis more often scored higher on measures of female sexual function. Another study found that women who use cannabis frequently had twice the odds of reporting satisfactory orgasms compared to those with infrequent use. Among men, the results are conflicting again. Some research suggests a correlation between daily cannabis use and difficulty in achieving orgasms, including both delayed and premature ejaculation. Another study found that men who use cannabis regularly scored higher on measures of erectile function. They higher 5 of functional domains of the International Index of Erectile Function, namely erectile, orgasm, intercourse satisfaction, and overall satisfaction. So this review article is reporting the obvious to most cannabis users. Although I find some of the conclusions interesting, particularly I'm intrigued with the notion that dosage matters. Most users report feeling happy and relaxed after using cannabis. That alone would improve sexual experiences. An earlier study published in 2019 found that lower amounts of THC correlated with the highest level of arousal and satisfaction, and that too much THC could actually backfire. Dr. Ethan Russo's study, The Nose Knows, describes that better subjective pleasurable experience correlates better with aroma than THC content. At the CESC, our studies find that certain terpene types of cannabis seem to be more arousing than others. So how is your sexual experience using cannabis? Does dosage matter? This is Dr. Jean Talleyrand with High at 9 News.
I see, Dr. T, you picked a very, very appropriate setting for this story today, Dr. T.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that Valentine's?
Well, I mean, is that a bed with linens in your backdrop?
Research.
Very, very. I love it. I'm all about the research. All about the research. This is a fun story to research, so to say. I mean, I used to have this 90-year-old doctor. I don't know if you remember this Dr. T, but Dr. Greenfield. He was like an 80, 90-year-old, little skinny, very frail doctor, and he wrote a lot of cannabis recommendations. Yeah, and he used to tell me that he smoked cannabis for his libido.
Well, we've got the research now.
And now we have research. This is 30 years later, we got some research on this. When we've known anecdotally, yeah. Man, this is good news for people right here. This is fantastic. Especially, this is great news for all the women out there.
But I thought it was most interesting that dosage matters, meaning if you're just knocking it back, maybe it doesn't help.
I did find that interesting too, but I wonder too that if for some people, because you know what they say, Dr. T, different strokes for different folks, if some people need a higher allotment to hit that peak as well. It could go both ways with this, right?
I have a question. Did the study note the delivery methods? So are we talking about smoking cannabis? Are we talking about using a cannabis topical on your sexual organs? Are we talking about taking
I see what you did there.
Or a drink here?
I see what you did there, Elise. Mm-hmm. That's right. Elise is wondering if you rub it in, if it makes it better.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how specific.
I'm not wondering. I know.
I tried that. I just got all scratched up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, actually, no. There is a fact because it notes that women experience more benefits, right? And that's because so we actually have receptors in our vagina, if you will, or in the labia, or I think around the clitoris, so that if you use a topical down there, like a THC or CBD infused topical, ideally a hybrid of both, it is going to, increase blood flow, moisture, enhance, the experience. Whereas men, you just don't have that. You don't have the receptors down there that we have. So it's not going to harm your experience at all, perhaps using a air quotes weed lube or cannabis infused coconut oil, but it will greatly enhance the women's pleasure. I'm not lying, like 10x. Highly recommend, ladies.
10x?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not traveling around without my love balm. Shout out to Maya. Yeah, it's for reals.
Fascinating. Elise.
And then, if you have issues, it can be very helpful as well. And then not to, mention a pain or anything like that. But so.
What type of issues, Elise?
Well, some women experience, issues, perhaps, getting into the pleasure zone or perhaps reaching orgasm. So, all those same kind of dysfunctions that one might have in the sexual arena.
Interesting. Any other thoughts on this, Matthew St. Germain?
I think cannabis and psychedelics used with yoga and breathing techniques and Kegel muscles really enhance the knowledge of one's own nervous system and the control of one's autonomic nervous system. And I could go into details, but it would get pretty gross and involve me naked. So,
shout out to all those Kegel muscles, right, Matthew?
So I will dive into that. Kegel muscles are really important for being más fuerte, as well as it's prostate massage and health of the prostate. And the easiest place I find to do this is driving, right? Because you're nearly always driving, or you can also do this sitting at your desk. You just basically activate that muscle like you're stopping yourself from your pee stream without using your hands. And what I'll do is I'll do pulses. I'll do 100 pulses. I'll do 100. Then I'll do and where I'll hold for a count of 1,010 for 10 seconds. Then I'll just do it where I hold it for a count of 100 seconds, and then I'll do pulses, and I'll just run that through.
Run it through
right now.
I actually was, Elise.
he's running it through.
How could you tell?
Man. Is that woman intuition, right, Elise?
Exactly.
Fair enough. Apparently, Matthew St. Germain likes to, you know what I'm saying? You know, does that help with road rage, Matthew St. Germain, when you do that?
Smoking weed helps with road rage, although it's illegal, so don't do it, and I never do.
Got it. Fair enough.
You know, the other thing is just leave early and know there's going to be traffic. Like, I'm always amazed when people are tripping and trying to leave on time to get there, like when the MAP program says, just leave a half an hour early. If you get there early, then you have time to look at a tree, kick it, do some breathing exercises, regulate yourself, smoke a little weed if you want to. And if something happens and you're not late, you're on time still.
Yeah.
Life advice from St. Germain.
Fair
Seriously.
enough. Fair enough.
Wellness focus this morning.
I love it. I love this wellness focus right here, you guys. This is a great way to start off your Friday. You know what I mean? Roll right into the weekend. You know what I mean? Well, on that, we're going to roll right on into a commercial, and we're going to be right back.